Fair use copyright notice disclaimer. This video and our media content in general may contain certain copyrighted works that were not specifically authorized by the copyright holder for us to use. We're using it for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, and educational purposes, which we believe are protected by the federal law and fair use copyright.
Whips and kicks, what's up, y'all? It's been a minute. Welcome to the build. This is part one. On this episode, we're going to be discussing the heartbeat of the whip, the engine, the powertrain, LS Big Blocker ALT. Alright, y'all just got done probably tapping into the Rick Ross car show, checking out those wheels, checking out them old schools, checking out that paint. Probably got you motivated and inspired to put you a build together, drop you something for the street. But I don't think a lot of y'all really know what it takes to put these old schools together, man. Back in the day, you could get away with just a spray and play where you grab your old school car, throw some paint on it, maybe grab you some used wheels and throw some sounds and beat, and you ready for the street. But now the bars change, man. The bars raised. It's a different day and it's a different game. You know what I mean? And this old school shit is stressful. Let's talk about it.
On the box Chevy frame and how everything's going, guys, it's just like it's always bumps in the road. So I'm definitely like, once this box Chevy and my Cutlass is done, I'm definitely never ever jumping in that old school lane again. It's just like a headache, guys.
Now, see, let me tell you where the headache comes in when you're building these old schools, man. Because we going from shop to shop, and it's old cars, man, so something's bound to go wrong, you know what I mean? And pretty much you building a car. You're literally building a car. So we're taking these old engines out, building them from the pan all the way up to the intake, you know what I'm saying? Then you got to get the suspension right. You got to come with the tubular control arms. You got to come with the disc brakes, at least 4 to 6 pistons, you know what I'm saying? Sway bars, upper and lower, adjustable trailing arms. I mean, come on, man. There's so much stuff that can go wrong when you're trying to build these cars.
I say this, if it's a shop, like a one-stop shop that's like really on everything and that can take care of everything for you, then that's cool. But other than that, like when you got to deal with multiple shops with these old schools, and plus you got other life shit going on, it's just tough, man. It's real tough, guys. So no more old schools for me. No more old schools on the channel.
None of you motherfuckers don't care enough about a brother to even just see what's going on in a nigga life. Sometimes a nigga need a hug or something, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know.
Yeah, CJ, this old school game is a different monster, bro. This ain't buying a new car, slapping some wheels and a supercharger on the engine and wrapping paint and keep it pushing. This old school game is a monster, bro, and it ain't cut out for everybody. You gotta have time and patience, and you know in the old school game they say you can only get 2 things. Now, do you either want it done, you can get it done fast, cheap, or good. If you want it done fast and you want it done good, it ain't gonna be cheap. If you want it done cheap and you want it done fast, it ain't gonna be good.
I'll tell y'all a couple of things about my 7-1. I built it, I bought it in 2014. By 2015, by my birthday, it was done, ready to go. Well over $100,000 frame off. Phenomenal. Verse Season did the same thing. We put these things together real quick.
Yep, the most important thing I probably failed to mention, other than having patience to put one of these things together, if you're gonna do it right, you gotta have that bag, man. You gotta have that paper, man. You gotta have that paper.
Now versus then, the game just done elevated. Cause I could take you all the way back to when it cost $2,500 to drop a whole car. You know I mean, I'm talking about rims, paint, interior. Back when motherfuckers was just dropping white guts, 3 blades. It didn't matter what kind of paint. You know what I mean? So it took you $2,500 and your whole car was dropped. The game elevated and went from that to $25,000 to drop a car. Now, the game at $250,000 to drop a car. So, I mean, that just shows you the elevation and where the game done went from. So, in the future, what you think it's gonna take?
Turn up, till I'm about to spaz on this bitch. I'm about to go crazy, nigga. Check this out. Yo, hey, I'm the type of nigga always got some motion. How to got it all, hustle fall, window poking. I'm the type of nigga, always got some paper. Do the spin a block, hit a knot.
Some cars may have a ticket, a half a ticket, 750. Like, it's going up higher and higher to the point it might be a whole ticket to drop a car.
Hey Siri, start Beetlejuice.
Now see, when Navel was just talking about a $250,000 bill, half a ticket bill, $1 million bill, this is the type of bill he was talking about right here. This is Fred Rari 7 Trey Donk right here. We talking about where everything is touched from the tire to the roof, bumper to bumper, suspension, drivetrain, powertrain, disc brakes, trunk, interior, music, paint. Everything has been touched, man. Left nothing, no screw unturned. Everything has been touched on this thing. So these are the type of high-end bills that we're talking about. We're not just talking about just a spray and play, get you a little $3,000-$4,000 used wheels and hit the street. No, we're talking about top of the line, frame off, quality builds, man. That's what we're talking about it right now on the bill is quality builds, how much it costs to do a quality build and how stressful it is to do a quality. Prime example of a good quality build. This is Pineapple by Lucky 71, man. He built this car in 2007 and he's still holding his own today, right now in 2025.
All that Bentley, all that Mercedes Benz, and you can that's credit card or you can use credit for that. This right here, it's cash, man. Ain't no leasing, ain't no financing. If you ain't got no paper, don't even try to do this, man. Because you're gonna be in the poorhouse.
Straight up.
I'm telling you right now.
Don't get stressful. Stay out of it. You ain't ready.
Time again,
You already know.
We say first thing is stressful.
Don't get stressful. Stay out of it, man.
Stay out of it. You can't afford it, man. People spending big checks,
stuff,
man.
but we were actually going through some invoices. We figured we'd break some of them down to you to kind of let you get an idea of what you're getting ready to get yourself into. Because I speak to a lot of people on the phone and I tell them how it's going to go. And they're like, oh man, I didn't know it was going to be that much. Or I couldn't imagine it being that much. So we took the time to actually print some of the invoices we have. And this one just happens to be a parts labor. Like an LT4 complete package is $28,000. The LT4 starter for that thing is $425. You want custom valve covers, they're $12.85 with your logo in them. But that's before we paint them, that's before we take them apart, that's before we go and make inserts for the letters so we can leave those silver. Shorty headers, $538. The Wagner pulley with the 320 amp alternator is $4,300. Like, you could shop most of these prices and see they're pretty much on the dime. Super cooler with fittings, $290. I mean, as you just go through this invoice, you could see like LS radiator fan combo kit, $1,100. Miscellaneous fittings and hose estimate around $2,700. Hydro boost, $975. Like, that's before we paint it, that's before we do anything. Master cylinder chrome, that's bare. The Ford 9 rear end with the axles and gears, $4,800. The bare brakes, you know, $3,200 for rear or for front. The rear brakes are $2,700. A real coilover kit is $1,100. Upper and lower Metco trailing arms, $836. Coilover spring upgrade, $65. Front coilover spring and shock, $825. I mean, this stuff is just adding up. Custom brake lines, Hydro Boost to Master, $375. Custom frame rail brake lines, $350. Dakota Digital RTX gear positioning sensor, comp and pass, $1,900. A body mount kit, $400. Tie rod ends with sleeves, $150. Center link, $125. And this just goes on and on. Sway bar end link with bushings, $100. Global West tubular lower control arms, $875. Global West tubular upper control arms, $845. Rick's tank, stainless steel, 2850. Vintage AC, the whole kit with the fittings, 2500. Flaming River joints, Flaming River DD rod, 215. Flaming River polished steering column, 1450. Painless performance wiring, 800. Power steering reservoir, aluminum brushed, 280. You see that total? That's just a quick parts list. That's or even everything. It's close. So when you guys say these cars are expensive, it's mostly because of the accessories on them.
This is Donk life, man. This is a whole different life out here. Like my dog said.
If you ain't ready, stay out of it. Straight up.
We just seen a lot of people start this here and became homeless, man. Don't do it.
It can't be like this.
It is this way, man. I'm sorry I exposed you to it, but it is. It's ugly, but it's necessary.
1971, small, 383 stroker, 26s, Amani Forges, wild wheel brake system, everything redone. You see the frame on the bottom, everything powder coated, everything. Chrome, everything redone. Dashboard redone, wrapped, fiberglass. The radio is inside the console. Chrome rack redone, everything redone. Let me get the keys so I can park the trunk for land. Trunk redone. Hey, this the trunk alone, 15,000. 15,000 the trunk. Stay away from the Donk game, man. Original molding. But I had to paint it. The original molding come black, and you have to paint this. The original molding on the car. This molding alone cost me $1,500. This for the molding, $1,500. Sandman design. Sandman, everything. Specially made by Sandman. Shout out to Sandman. Sandman leaf catcher. Whole front chrome rack. All the front chrome. This grill, $1,000. And it ain't brand new, it's just refurbished, $1,000. Stay away from this game, man. These light bezels, I had to send them to California to get them redone. $750 plus shipping. Stay away from this game, man.
Talk to him about what it takes to get in this game, called some people can come with 10, 20,000, 25,000 and think you can get started when it comes to one of these cars, but I want folk to realize that they not just pretty, man. They actually, they got real deal performing engines and stuff.
Fast and flashy show car, race car. Fast and flashy, you know what I'm saying? Like a Donk like this, to start off with the car. Right now, the car by itself in pretty decent condition. You can spend $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 for a Donk. 71 through 73, those about the highest one. You know what I mean? 74, 75. They ain't as much, but it's still a Donk.
Yeah, man, so the odd year Donks are definitely the ones that are more sought after. That'd be the 71, 73, and 75. But that 71, the ace, is the king of the Donks, you know what I'm saying? And then if we're talking about the 71, then you're going to have to go with that Impala Vert Life, you know what I'm saying? But it's crazy that just a few years ago, man, I'm talking about less than 10 years ago, you can get a 71, 73, or 75 if you search hard enough for less than 10,000. But yeah, man, those days is pretty much over with. Yesterday's price is not today's price, and anybody just selling an odd number Donk, an ace, a tray, or a 5, it seems like they want the moon for it, whether it's rusted out or not.
The motor, if you ain't making 1,000 horsepower, you better go sit down. Like if you start with a 421 old school motor, you about 15,000. You go with an LSX, all that, you know what I mean? Something that make 1,500 with a turbo or something. You about 18, 20,000, 25,000, depending on what you want.
that's just the motor. That ain't the transmission, the intercooler, the turbo, the digital gauge, the shifter, the rear end, the suspension, the shocks, the disc brakes, the headlight. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have about 150,000. You gonna have 6 figures into something that can run sub 10-second passes on the racetrack. And that's just basically you'll have something like that. If you want to get an NDRA, you want to race a Donk, G-body, box Chevy, bubble Chevy, any of that kind of stuff. If you want a good, strong powertrain, you know what I mean, you have at least 60,000 and motor, transmission, rear end, the cooler system, you know what I mean? Fuel system, stuff like that. That's what you have. Something that can make a guaranteed 1,000 horsepower to the ground.
And so what now to be competitive, like competitive as in running with you, cause we know we got class like look. Run. He said run.
Yeah. If you want to run me now, you better spend about $250,000. But if you want to come in first place loser, if you want to run with some of the slower guys.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. Let's talk about the powertrain, man. The powertrain, the heartbeat of the whip. Now, you can keep it conventional old school and go to small block Chevy, or you can go with that big boy, that big block Chevy. You know what I'm saying? You can go new, a little bit newer technology with the LS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Or you can go with this bad mamma jamma right here, man. The LT4 seems to be the choice that everybody is dropping in the ride right now. That LT4 and 5. But I'm gonna tell you what, regardless of which way you go, from small block to LT, if you building that thing up from the ground or you buying it out the crate, such as an LT4 combo, it don't matter which way you go, you're gonna spend some dough.
So the game definitely elevated a whole lot. Motor-wise, you gotta have a supercharger. All that carburetion, that shit out the window, you understand? You gotta have that supercharger. That package gonna run you at least a dub or better. The game definitely has elevated and it's steady elevating.
Hey, one of the most asked questions on YouTube, man, what the fucking Nova car? Cause that bitch sound like an airplane when that bitch take off, you hear me?
Yeah, that's a little baby gorilla. That's all that motherfucker is. A little baby gorilla.
There you go, boy.
Outside of your big block Chevy and your LS and your LT platforms that people are swapping off into their old schools, you do got some people that's going crazy, man, and throwing these Hemis off in the old school Chevys as well. Check this out.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
He like, nah.
He just stiff his elbow. Oh, blender smoking there, boy.
Not too close to me.
I know we got some of y'all to say, nah, a Chevy block is supposed to be in the Chevy. Well, check this out. They done made an adapter where you can throw the supercharger from an SRT Hellcat right on top of a LS.
I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
It's real, and it is from ICT Billet. They really did it. This is crazy. I'm touching it. Actually, I saw Barnyard Finds. They actually are running it on their tow truck. But that thing is real, ladies and gentlemen, and it works. Holy smokes. Look, that's real. Crazy.
See, don't get me wrong. You don't got to go crazy and spend 20, 30,000 to get you some serious horsepower and serious torque. You can go grab you one of these, an old 454 big block, and get busy. Matter of fact, we're going to tap into the Black Car Guru and let him tell y'all what to do with this 454, man. And y'all make sure y'all go follow him on all platforms, Black Car Guru.
When it comes to making big-ass horsepower, I suggest you use the Gen 4 to 6 big block Chevy with the 4-bolt main. People forget that before the LS engine even came out, big block Chevys were the go-to swap engine. Top-end kits are the best way to spice up your big block Chevy. Now, it's pros and cons to it. Pros are, well, everything's pretty much all together. All you need to do is buy it for a specific price. You don't have to nickel and dime yourself finding a high-rise intake and then going to find the right gaskets you need for your build and shit like that, the right heads, and nah, they already have it together. You just need to figure out what type of top-end kit you want to run. So if you want to do a top-end kit instead of piecing everything together yourself, it'll be best to go with a Broadix cylinder head top-end kit. With just the top-end kit alone, you can see 600 horsepower all motor on a big block Chevy and about 650 foot-pounds of torque. But let's say that isn't enough and you want more cubic inches. You can bore and stroke it to a 496. If you're going to boost this thing, it's very important to remember that if you're going for, if you're going for naturally aspirated horsepower, you need to bump up your compression ratio to like 12 point something to 1 or 13 point something to 1. Great. But if you're going for boost, you need to lower that compression or you'll send the heads into the stratosphere. This Lunati stroker kit has a compression ratio of 8.3 to 1. Good for if you're trying to boost is like put a 300 shot of nitrous on it or pro charge it or hell. You can go way out the box and add a turbo to this motherfucker. Upgrade your oil pump, an 850 CFM carburetor, and a nice aggressive ass cam. Add a 3500 stall and a built TH400 or 2-speed power glide if you want to. You can drop it inside of a Monte Carlo LS, a Sonoma, throw some slicks on that motherfucker, pro charge that whole 454 combination and throw it inside a Landau Chevy with a pro charger, a box Chevy with a 200 shot of nitrous. You could even do a twin turbo 454 3rd gen Camaro. Or you can go way outside the box and say, you know what, fuck it, 400 shot of nitrous, throw it inside of a New Edge Mustang, throw some slicks and skinnies on it, a roll cage, and you got you a nice little street car.
Nah, I know since people done started swapping these LS's in the old schools and hot rods, the debate has always been, what's the better block to do the swap with, the LS or the big block? So let's listen to a couple people break it down and see what their opinion is, and then maybe it'll help you make your decision on what engine you want to throw in your build.
A lot of different things to take into consideration when you're going out trying to find an engine for your vehicle. And first category that we went over was modability. I gave this one to both the big block and the LS. So we're going to put a check next to the big block and a check next to the LS. Power. The big block Chevy is going to make a little bit more power in stock form, just with basically a top end kit. So I'm going to give this one to the big block Chevy. Reliability. This was a big one, and of course this is going to be a huge one for a lot of people that want to drive their car pretty much every day. So this is going to be a check mark for the LS. Street friendliness, another check mark for the LS. Because because these basically just turnkey, ready to go, pretty much any time that you want, no matter the weather. You're gonna turn the key, it's gonna idle, warm up, you're gonna be able to go out and have a blast without a headache, pretty much. So check mark for the LS on that one. Now, price to modify. This one I gave it to the big block Chevy because it's a little bit cheaper to actually modify a big block for the same amount of power when you're considering just taking engines from the wrecking yard and putting a top end kit on them. The big block Chevy is going to keep a little bit more money in your bank account for this. So for this, I give this a check mark on the big block Chevy. Weight. Now this is another huge one, as I was saying, for anybody trying to make an autocross car, pro touring, anything like that. Something that's supposed to handle really well. Weight is a huge factor. It's even a huge factor in drag racing. So if you're going to be making a big block Chevy instead of an LS, you better make sure that big block Chevy makes more power than that LS if you're going down the drag strip, because you're risking about 200 pounds there. So 200 pounds definitely is going to give the win to the LS on that. So check mark for the LS. Cool factor. Now this is an opinion pretty much just on my end. So for me, as I said, it's going to be the big block Chevy. So check mark on that. So in this terms, we do have kind of a tie. Both these engines are very good at doing what they do. Now, whether it be going to the drag strip or driving it every day, it's going to be up to you pretty much to decide exactly what you want to do with either of these engines and go from there. If you're looking for high horsepower, loud, you know, go with the big block. If you're looking for still high horsepower and reliability and stuff, pretty much what people want to be able to drive their car more often, you're going to want to go with the LS. But regardless, just go out, get at it, go get a wrecking yard engine, go out and have some fun. These are very cheap platforms nowadays, and that's all I want to say.
Is the big block better than the LS engines? Let me explain it. You see, the big blocks provided diesel torque in a gas engine configuration, with the downside of this thing being heavier than a party bus full of strippers. This is a 700-pound engine. I don't care if you bore and stroke this engine to 496 and throw a blower on it. That's just added weight. Plus that blower, that's maybe 750, 760-pound engine and all. This is not a light engine. So people ran into a predicament. On the other hand, I want diesel torque. On the other hand, I want that small block high RPM. So what do? You either build a 383 or you go get a 400 small block with splayed mains and you spray some dope in it. Then came 1997 and GM debuted their LS1, which was a whole 300 pounds lighter, 350 pounds lighter than a 454 big block of the last generation. You see, at first, nobody really cared for the LS1, the LS in general. Nobody cared for it until they started tearing it apart and realizing, oh, you know what, this motherfucker's stronger. You know what? Hey, let's throw a turbo on it and see what happened. Big blocks began to fade out because now you don't have to spend 10 grand on a fully built 454 or 496 big block. You don't have to do that. For the same price that you build a 454 big block for, a 496 stroker for, that's the LS3 with a cam, maybe ported heads and some valve springs. An LS engine wins in affordability, but as far as raw power, raw torque, because torque wins races, not horsepower. The 454 wins every time. A top-end kit on a damn 454 and you got 600, damn near 650 horsepower naturally aspirated. You can't do that with an LS without having to do a boring stroke.
Yeah, if you ask me, in my opinion, between the two, I'm big block to the world stop, man. And if I'm not throwing in a big block, then I'm gonna go with that LT platform. I'm just not big on the LS, man. You know, a LS, you're not gonna get the same torque as you get from a big block. And man, I got a lot of reasons that I'm just not on that LS bandwagon, man.
Yeah. What you got to say from LS boys, man?
Oh, man, fuck them LS boys. Them motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they doing. Yeah, you know, they like them LS's because, you know, they say, you know, that they could drive in the motherfucker and go somewhere. Well, go on, motherfucker, come on back. Get back on. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
You know, I turned this into a motherfucking LS. Fuel injection, 4L80 transmission, a true 3000 stall, 300 shot of nitro, vintage air, hydro boost brakes, Dakota dash, all Holley ignition, everything. Curry built rear end, 373 gears, a $3,600, $3,800 buzz out system from front to the back, fully ceramic coated. Done deal. If they don't like it, fuck them.
So you said this is the first big block rear motor that's fast.
They got them out there, but they ain't got reliability. This motherfucker here is just like a yo-yo. You throw it out, it come back to your hand. I drive that motherfucker, I come back home, it come right back home, just like a yo-yo.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what it do all the time. All the time. You know, remote start. You know what I'm talking about. If it don't start on the first quick, fuck it. We turn it on. Okay, that's fine. Watch this. Hit. It's okay, it's gonna start.
It's gonna start?
Oh yeah, this is fuel injection. You know, these motherfuckers do what they do. But it's okay. Come on, baby.
Don't worry about what size. We got a big block with dual carburetors. A little juice right here. 500 shot. Well, I got a big block, man. All day long, big block, sticking out the hood. You already know what's in there, so if you gonna run, we can run. Okay? That's how we do it, you know? But I'll holler at y'all later, man. I'm out of here. Y'all already know. Got a big block 505 up under there. Don't ask me the specs, because I don't know. It's just a big block. Yeah, and yes, it
Yeah, man, a LS just can't compare with the torque and the chop of that big block, man. Ain't nothing like the idle sound of a big block with its camming and chopping. All right, now that we done ran through a couple of the options, man, and seen some choices, what's your plan? What you gonna throw up in your old school? You gonna go with that LS for reliability, maybe get a little bit more horsepower by slapping a supercharger or some turbos on there, or you gonna go with that big block Chevy, man, for that high torque, monster cam, monster chop? Or do you plan on dropping the bag, man, and going with that LT platform, LT4 or LT5? Or you could also get you a LT1 and just slap a LT4 supercharger on it. It just depends on how far you want to go.
It's not a crate LT4. It's an LT, LT1, LT engine that come out of a 2019 Camaro. And what we did was put the
supercharger on.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Put a supercharger and the cam on it,
Right.
They pretty much the same. Only difference is the pistons.
Yeah, you got to do the ring gap and all that. You got to get the right ring gap, the supercharger and all that, yeah.
Pretty much when we, pulled it out, I sent it to the shop and he gapped the rings, check the clearance, make sure everything was good, make sure nothing wasn't touching, So we won't run into no issues. But
Right.
like I said, I've been enjoying it, man. I've been riding the fuck out of it. A lot of people tell you don't do it.
Right.
That is the bottom end not gonna hold up. It's not gonna do that. You know that the original stock LT4 is supposed to be a lot more stronger. And
Right.
if you putting the LT4 on the LT, it ain't gonna work. You're gonna blow it up. I had no problem.
Oh yeah, you know they say that bottom end be a motherfucker.
Alright, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, part one of the build as far as the powertrain goes, but don't worry, we still got other components coming up in future episodes because we still got the wheels, we still got the suspension, we still got interior music, and the part that everybody hate, paint, being caught in prison paint, man. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all hit like and subscribe so you'll know when I got future episodes. Coming up on part two of the build, paint and body.
Same stereo, guys. Me personally, to me, it's Sudamar, Roberts, and Danielson for paint. Personally, I use Danielson like everybody else uses. So the people is like, oh, why do your paint jobs look the way that they look? You probably paying $8,000, $10,000, and you guys want metalwork included. I pay $12,000, $13,000, and I do my own metalwork, and I give them the cars gapped, ready just for bodywork and paint. And I'm just mad picky when it comes to my stuff. And they know that if a car's getting painted for me, they gotta go that extra step because I'm paying that extra check.
I've run into customers that were confused about how to differentiate what's done into paint and body. How did it get out of hand? How did it go this far? If you look at this Corvette was not taken off the frame. This is a more simple paint job. You know, you might have 100 hours, you might have 120 hours total time in this car. Levels to it. Now, when you go to a car such as the Monte Carlo that we did, the car was stripped to the metal. It was taken off of the frame. You know, every piece was stripped to the metal and examined. And this car that maybe had 100, let's just say 150 hours total time. That was in the paint and body aspect of this car. You know, this car probably has double that. You know, it probably has 300 hours in it. You know, just in the paint and body side, not sheet metal. The metal work is a phase in itself. If you have a car with rust, that's a phase in itself. He had a lot, like just in sheet metal parts, he probably had 3,500 in just the sheet metal parts. Now you gotta have the labor to remove and replace with new parts. You wanna go extra luxury with the paint as far as candy paint, that's additional. And then we're gonna go over additional, you know, things that you wanna do beyond the additions that normally comes about with a paint job. For example, painting everything up under the engine bay, smoothing your firewall, painting that the same exterior color, painting your wheel wells, your radiator support, so when you pop the hood, like these cars, everything is uniform. And D went an extra step further than that. As you can see on D's car, the radiator support, you know, the back part of it really just to coordinate everything in the engine bay.